I wonder if Missenden Flyer and Lamb Chop Rides, people like that, ever get drivers and pedestrians staring at them, wondering why they're talking to themselves. So one of the best things about a bike as a whole really is not being stuck in traffic. I ride every day because I love riding, but also because I hate being stuck in traffic. Yeah, I need to use a car sometimes. Our dog doesn't particularly like going on the back of the bike. But having a bike to me is all about not having to wait in queues and enjoying your transport. So the Versys 1000, this is the standard Versys 1000, not the SE model, which means it hasn't got cornering headlights, it hasn't got electronic suspension. This standard model, to me it's been, over the winter and throughout the summer last year, it's just been an absolutely perfect workhorse bike. And that sounds like I'm disrespecting it. It sounds like I'm saying, well, it's good for the mundane things in life. But it genuinely is so much more than that. But in this video, I've done lots of other videos about this bike and there's more to come. Please do check them out. But in this video, I just want to talk to you about commuting. Because, I'm commuting on this bike every single day. And I am lucky enough to have a choice of bike. I've got my own bikes. I can, when we're testing bikes, I can take those. But over the year, this has been the bike that I've wanted to go to and from work on and go to meetings or go every day to Birmingham for the motorcycle live show. So that was every day, really cold, wet a lot of the time. This bike just works so well for those every single day rides. And in that, I mean, it's a combination of that engine, the seating position, the comfort, but it's the riding position, I'd say, probably is what makes this so perfect. Well, no, it's the engine. It's such a combination of things. I should probably say straight away that we've done a comparison between this bike and the BMW S1000 XR. Now, owners, particularly of the Versys 1000 who've test-ridden the S1000 XR, know exactly why they're completely different machines. But inevitably, people will draw comparisons. And certainly in the SE model of the Versys 1000, the price is very similar. Being the standard model though of this Versys 1000, the price is quite a lot different to the S1000 XR. And it's the way this engine works. This engine is very strong throughout the rev range without ever being aggressive or peaky. I mean, the S1000 XR engine is outstanding, but it's quite shouty. It does kind of want to be going hard, and it feels like it's going hard all the time. Whereas this Versys 1000 is lovely and smooth, and I'd say gentlemanly, but again, that sounds like I'm criticising it almost. But in any revs, it just pulls. So I'm in, let's go into 6th now. So we're cruising along at 30, and you can see it's not ideal, but there's no hesitation there. 2,000 revs, under 2,000 revs, and it's fine. I won't mess around too much in here. We're coming up to one of the many junctions around here that you'll either see people sitting in the lane just before it, and then at the last minute thinking, oh, why am I here? Or at the last minute thinking, oh, I want to be across there. And then you get some really good people. Cheers. So you just have to be careful. So I'll try and concentrate while I'm doing this. But I really wanted to show you just a little section of the commute and show you why this bike works so well. So, yeah, the engine pulls really well, but if you're going to take it out on back roads, on your own, or just when the road opens up, let's go this way. When the road opens up, it's got bags, and it's got a really good induction roar. You may well know that Kawasaki is well known for its tuning those airboxes to give you a really nice induction roar, which, to be honest, I like that. It's not going to wind people up as you go past them or go through villages, but you can hear it. You can hear it angrily growling when you get the revs going. And this isn't the most angry growly bike there is, but it's certainly got a good tone to it. So yeah, the engine, I can't think of a situation where this engine hasn't been good, except one where I was going uphill, fully loaded, with my wife on the back, I was in second gear instead of first, pulling away, and I stalled it. That's not the fault of the bike. Fortunately, because it's not too tall, I managed to get both feet down and catch it before I fell over. So yeah, engine's really good, really great for doing tight work, manoeuvring through traffic or in car parks. But so the riding position, so the bars are good and wide, not too wide, not the current S1000 XR, the first model, felt like the bars were just that little bit wider. These ones feel good, but they're not too wide to be a problem through traffic. I mean, obviously something a little bit narrow, you might get a slight advantage, but really I haven't had any problems with this. You'll occasionally get a van mirror in the way, but you can jiggle the bars through it, get through that traffic. Obviously, being an adventure style bike, it's an adventure tourer. This hasn't got any pretenses to being a off-road machine like a GS or anything like that. Realistically, there are a lot of people who do some incredible journeys on those bikes, but this isn't built for that. This is for somebody who said, hey, I'm only riding on tarmac, which is me. The riding position obviously is really commanding. I'm sitting up nice and high. I've got a really good view over the traffic. You can see that I've got a good view over the cars, which means as I'm going through the traffic I can see what's coming. I can easily stand up, get a really good high view over everything if I need to. It's rare that, but there's times, you've seen it where you've come up to an awkward bit of road, you just want to be able to look up the road, see everything that's going on. Yeah, so the good wide position, quite commanding. Saddle, for this kind of thing, it's a lovely, big, soft saddle. And for everyday use, and for my bigger business trips, it's been great. It's on the really long tours, I think it lets itself down a little bit. When I had the seat recovered for my Africa Grom, core Ed Motorcycle Seating said that the Kawasaki Versys is quite common for him to get in for a bit of a reshape. And I do find my bum gets a bit numb after time with it. And I do find that with a lot of bikes. I seem to get a numb bum quite rapidly. But seem to particularly so with this bike. But there we're talking about a couple of hours riding, and it's not agony. Reshape the seat, maybe a cover, or maybe you won't even have any problems with it at all. Certainly some of the other Versys 1000 owners I've been talking to, they haven't been complaining about it. So maybe a test ride, just have a go and see what you think. But overall, this riding position really just works excellently, especially for the commute, which is what we're talking about in this video. So you'll easily get 200 miles out of a full tank on this bike. When the fuel gauge starts flashing, you've got a good 35 miles left. So depending on your commute, depends whether it's going to see you, one way to work or whatever. But it's you've got plenty of warning. Fuel gauge is pretty accurate. I'm averaging about 45 miles a gallon. I'm quite a on-off rider with a throttle. I never get particularly good fuel consumption. So I certainly know you can get more out of this. If you're doing a good tour, you're not riding particularly hard or not riding too hard, you'll get a good 210, maybe 220 out of the tank. So it's for a commute, you'd have to be going a bloody long way to be able to keep filling this up. One thing I love about this standard version, not the SE, is because it's not got the electronic suspension, it hasn't got all the pump and servo under the seat, which means the seat storage area is empty, which means it's one of the biggest I've ever seen, even compared to 1990s bikes, which seem to have acres of storage space. I'm able to get a full puncture repair kit, a lock, a chain, and more in there. So it's really, really handy. And obviously I run with a top box. I do that. You can have a top box and panniers on this bike, and I have got both. So when I'm touring with my wife, having that ability to load it up fully is brilliant. But of course that limits your filtering. So I just run with a top box for day-to-day riding. And it's great because I don't feel any difference in the stability of the bike or anything like that. I'll often just wear my rucksack. I've just got a Krieger R30 rucksack, which I've had for donkey's years. I'll normally just wear that. especially if I've got other stuff I need to carry home to photograph or anything. So having that top box means, you know, I've always got a boot on this bike. Now I'm filming this today on the Sena 10C Pro. Been really impressed with the sound on this. Hopefully it sounds good to you. The video quality in day and night is really good. And the audio is great. So for shooting stuff like this, it's actually worked out really well. Battery life's not as brilliant obviously as a normal intercom. But you can actually power this and charge it while you're using it, which is unusual for an intercom. So back to the bike. Headlight, I've been really impressed with it. It's got LED headlights, it hasn't got the cornering lights, but LED headlights often, I know there's been quite a few bikes that just haven't been particularly good for their headlights. The beam pattern's always very on-off. There's a real jump from the light to no light, whereas a traditional halogen bulb and reflector, you'd normally see a bit of a graduation there. But on here you do still get that stepping, but it's a really good wide spread of a clean white light, and I've been very impressed. Even just on dip, you get a good view of the road ahead. Certainly a lot better than many other bikes out there at the moment. Put some spots on it, you could get even better, but yeah, I haven't ridden this bike and thought, oh, I wish I had the cornering headlights, so I've not missed out there. Criticism of it, the screen is a bit noisy. On the commute, doesn't really bother me, but it's a bit buffety, a bit noisy. Certainly on long journeys, it's not the best. You could put the SE model screen on there, which is a lot bigger, and it's got cutouts to... So what you don't want to do is just create a big wall. You often need to create airflow behind the screen as well to help the air not buff it in the area in front of you. So you can put the SE screen on, there'll be plenty of aftermarket options. The fact that I haven't changed mine is telling that it hasn't bothered me that much. It's not that bad. The other thing, I'm pretty fastidious when it comes to cleaning bikes, but I haven't been on this bike. Partly it's been every day getting back late from work. No excuse, you know, we're all in the same situation. But I've also kind of wanted to see what the finish is like, and like most bikes, it's these little areas of thinly plated steel that show the white corrosion. Everything else though, it's fine, and a good clean's going to see it come up great. We just might see a little bit of white spotting on these areas, and it's just fasteners and small plates that seem to be that problem. I love the balance of this bike. I'm no trials rider by a long way, as I'm sure you see, but it's just the position of your body and the bars does make it really easy just to drag the clutch, drag the back brake, keep the bike balanced. I try and challenge myself to not have to put my feet down on a ride. And certainly this bike, just has that ability to nip through the traffic. Yeah, it's not a sharp steering super bike or anything like that, but it's certainly not ponderous. So tyres on it, I pretty well straight away, so that I could try them out, put Pirelli Angel GT2s on this. Now I'd used the Angel GTs on my MT10 that I used to own. I've since sold that. Very impressed with them. Bags of grip, sport touring tyre. You'd think on the aggressive MT10 that just wants to wheelie everywhere, I'll be going for super sticky sports rubber. But the Angel GTs were super sticky and warmed up. Importantly, they warmed up quickly on the road. I wasn't having to work to get them warmed up to temperature. You can have a super sticky sports tyre, but if you don't get it up to temperature, it's not going to be as good as a tyre designed for the type of riding you're doing, or the type of surface you're on. So these are the Angel GT2s on here. I've done over 4,000 miles on them. You can start to see some squaring off of them. They're just starting to show that squaring, but certainly you can't feel it in the handle of the bike. There's no obvious lip to go over, so there's definitely plenty more miles left in this. I certainly won't be needing to change them anytime soon. So I don't want to seem like I'm just gushing about this bike all the time, because I genuinely think it's a really good machine. Of course there's caveats. I can't think of any bike that is perfect, but there's very few bikes that are rubbish. But this bike is really, really good. It's called the Versys because it's a versatile system, and I can't argue with it. It's versatile, it's practical, it's a great workhorse, it's just really good at everything it does. The fact that you could argue that something like the S1000 XR excels at being a sporty blaster of a bike isn't to say the fact that this is so good at so many things means it's not. This excels at being a brilliant commuter, but God, that still sounds like I'm oh well. I ride every day, and if I had to choose one bike that was going to be used for every single day, getting me to and from work, and for tours, and for when I want to go out for a blast. I love exploring twisty back roads. If I had to choose one bike to do everything, then honestly the Versys 1000 would be it. I'm lucky that I get to ride a lot of different bikes. I'm lucky that I own 3 bikes. If I could have one to do everything, this would be it. Hello. Fucking cold. Oh, for the last 3 months, pissing cold.